Everybody's on the same page. No.
So this is a part 2 series from the last video which I posted, and this would just basically be about why data is important to human development, especially in low income, medium income countries, and also developing countries. For me, who is a Nigerian who is coming from a developing country, we like to consider ourselves that, even if we are like third world, data is very important. We lack data, and I know people who really ask me, "Oh, Grace, why are you passionate about data, and why is it important?" And I would say this: data kind of gives you an idea about what a problem is, and sort of kind of points you to a direction where you could solve it, right? So when you gather data, you could look at outliers, things that possibly do not affect your data at all, or are outside the parameters of influence to what your subject is. But basically, I'm not going to go into details of that. But what I want to really talk about today is telling you guys that for us in developing countries, data is important. And what is data? Data is like literal information that can be proven when you use it to test a solution. It can be proven that this data gathered can actually help solve a problem. And for us in developing countries, I think it's important for us to gather information bit by bit. Information meaning you could actually find newspaper clippings that you think are important and try to digitalize them. Take records of things happening in your communities. Ask questions. Ask your local government chairman how much they got for their budget that year, and actually find out how many people what was the budget for. Did they want did the budget specifically highlight that 3 hospitals were going to be built, 3 healthcare centers were going to be built? And actually do that fact checking yourself. Excuse me. Do that fact checking yourself and find out, were those hospitals really built within the time frame which this budget was allocated for? And those little information can be blogged about, can be spoken about, can be shared on the internet, and through that people can actually gather data and information that can be really helpful, especially when it comes to policy and advocacy. This little information that people gather and put online, which can be fact checked. You could actually become a fact checker and actually go to your communities, look at posts done on social media and say, you know what, I live close to this place, is this true? And actually do real documentary on it, which can be helpful. And what this does is it actually improves the whole cycle of development. That means for us, especially as Nigerians who are looking towards better governance and more accountability, data helps you achieve those things. And one of the very important platforms I follow on Twitter would be Track NG and Budget and Tracker NG. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But these 2 platforms have been able to use data to actually question most of our policy makers and also our senators on the budgets that have been allocated and what they've been used for and what they've not been used for. And I think for me as a person, knowing that I have a little bit of influence, not as much, but a little bit of influence, I think most people within the parameters of power or influence should also pick things that they're actually really passionate about and feed data into the system, which is like on the internet, which is something that is easier for you to do. Feed data back into the internet on things that you're really passionate about or you want to advocate for, either good health, either good roads, good governance, accountability, like little things like that. Whatever data you can find which is actually factual, you could tweet about it, you could write about it, which would help policymakers and people who work in that field use your information as a source of or as a material for their policy drafts, for their advocacy, for reaching out to governments to change policies or things that could actually help in the whole development process. I don't know what I just finished ranting about, but I hope it made sense. The whole idea of this is just to say that data is important in development, and it is also something I'm really passionate about. Gathering data that could actually help us get the better country we deserve. If you're in Cote d'Ivoire, if you're in Togo, if you're in Nigeria, if you're in Sierra Leone, if you're in a country that is low income earning or medium income earning, data is actually important to improve the whole overall approach to governance and accountability. And that's what I'm here to just say.